Hello cider fans, Justin from the Cider Guys here. We are bringing you our next episode of our Meet the Maker series, and we filmed this episode down in Morrisville, North Carolina, near Durham, Raleigh, the Cary area, the Triangle area. And this was with Matt from Naughty Penguin Ciders. We had a really good time down there with Matt at his tap room, and got to learn a lot of different things about his ciders and kind of how he does things. And I hope you enjoy this episode. Please stop in and see Matt. He's got some great ciders, some pretty interesting stuff. He's got one of the best coffee ciders I've tried in a while. So definitely, if you're looking for something a little different and want to try a good coffee cider, definitely stop in and try his out. It's fairly new to his lineup, so but anyway. Get down there, try him out. He's got different things going on. He's trying to start getting more stuff in his tap room. He's got some painting parties that he hosts every now and then. He does trivia with Geeks Who Drink. So plenty of stuff coming up. So if you're ever down that way, please stop in and see Matt. And I hope you enjoy this episode again. But if you have any questions about what Meet the Maker series is, just click the link right up here above my head, and that will take you to our first episode where we explain a little bit about what it is. Please, if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell so that you'll get notifications every time we put a new video up, and hit that thumbs up button to let us know that you're liking what we're doing. Anyways, without further ado, here's the episode.
Alright, hey cider fans, the Cider Guys are here with Matt from Naughty Penguin Hard Cider. We're in the tap room here in Morrisville, North Carolina. Thank you, Matt, for joining us today.
Hey, thank you.
Having a little conversation with us.
Definitely, thank you.
First off, let's talk a little bit about your background and how you came to be a cider maker, and talk a little bit about how you came up with your name, Naughty Penguin.
Absolutely. So I've been making cider for home brews for about 5 years now. I just really enjoyed making the KISS method of cider, you know, keep it simple, stupid. And I would just go grab a jug of cider, pitch some yeast in it, let it go in my closet for like 3 weeks to a month, and then, hey, look, I've got cider, you know. Oh yeah, I remembered that was in there. And I just enjoyed it. There wasn't enough around here. There wasn't enough in North Carolina for how great the cider is out here, how great the apples are. And so I started looking into it about 3 years back, right when the boom picked up of some other ciders, and I just tried to jump on that wave and get in with it. As for the name itself, Naughty Penguin, it's a very fun story of Matt is a really hard name to say or remember in high school for a bunch of high schoolers, especially when there's 7 other Matts in my grade at that point. And so we all got nicknames, and I was somehow given the nickname of Penguin. Don't know how, don't know why, but it's fun. And nobody hates penguins, right? So maybe that's why. Everybody loves Penguin, right? And then, of course, you had to go, and when I went to open up this, I was like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna call it Penguin something. And of course, all my high school friends were like pushing me for, you know, something like Penguin's Bar or Penguin's something, right? And of course, then the story goes, you start drinking with your friends, and everybody gets a little naughty when they drink, so Naughty Penguin was born.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Alright, well, let's talk a little bit about your cider style. What kind of ciders do you make here?
I make a classic English style cider, yeah. So all my ciders are based off of my base, which is the Emperor Select. It's that same original recipe of just letting all the ciders be eaten away, coming out nice, dry, crisp, and light. Everything behind it that I wanted to make was I wanted you to be able to have more than one cider. I guess I'm an alcoholic because I don't want just one drink every time I go out. I always want at least 2, and if I can't drink 2 of mine in a row, I feel like it's too something, too heavy, too something. So for everything I do, I infuse into that Emperor's. Just for the base sake of like my Flamanguin, it's still apple juice infused in. I'm not adding sugars, I'm not adding syrups or anything like that. I'm literally taking the juice and putting it back in to get that sweetness out, so that I do have a very dry one that I've let eaten all the way, but I also have something that's a little sweet that can still bring out all those flavors. Yeah, but it's nothing that's the sugars that end up making you go, oh my God, I'm being weighed down. It's actual sugars from the fruits, which I feel everybody appreciates a lot more. So, yeah.
Totally agree. All right, building off what you spoke about, your cider style. Talk a little bit about the apples maybe and how they can fluctuate.
Absolutely. So for every one of my varieties, or however I do make my cider, whenever I do it, I make my Emperor Select and I select the apples. And I normally use a mix of Pink Ladies or pure Pink Lady because I really like that apple. But when I make it, I don't look for a set amount of sugar, I don't look for a set amount of tannins or anything that direction. I normally look for the apple itself because I appreciate the fluctuation throughout the season. The apples themselves fluctuate because you've got anything from the new mealy ones that produce a little bit of a different flavor to the old ones that have been beaten up and bruised that come out with some of the best juice, more sugars and stuff like that come out of them. It's one of those fluctuations that happens throughout all ciders unless you over filter or over add malic acid in, which I'm not a fan of malic acid at all. Again, my ciders are just cider and just yeast for everything, or just cider and yeast and the fruit that I'm going to steep in later. There is an entire aspect of doing it through getting the X amount of sugars so that you can do it, and the blends then can fluctuate. But you get a consistency across the board of the sugars that you're getting, or the pH or something like that, whereas I enjoy that little fluctuation because you get a bit of a difference. It's more consistent with how cider used to be made before there was a lot more
Science.
yeah, I was going to say that before science, so I don't know if that means mine's less scientific or if it means it's just more craft. But that's sort of what I ended up going with to bring back that original flavor. I also feel like it's very unique to the apples. It's letting the apples sing. It's letting the apples sort of do their job, do their thing, and not overwhelming them with like a overly high wine or champagne yeast. Since I'm using an English style yeast, it's a little bit less on that end. So it again comes out giving more flavor to the apples and just removing the sugars to make the alcohol.
Yeah, we appreciate the extra little bit of work that goes into that.
I'm glad you do. Though, I mean, for most of the process, it's 90% cleaning and keeping everything sanitized. The other 10% is watching cider ferment, which is really fun. But it comes out with a great product, so I'm not going to complain.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about your tap room here.
Absolutely,
can you tell us where you're located?
I am located in Morrisville, North Carolina, in the middle of nowhere. Basically, Morrisville, right between Cary, North Carolina. More people know Cary, so I normally mention that a lot more. But just off near 540 and 40 where they meet, it's like right off there. I chose it specifically because anybody who's coming from out of town, or even in for the Triangle, I've got such a straight way that I can go 30 minutes and hit most all of the Triangle itself for anything that's needed. It also shortens a lot of my drive to home, woohoo! Which always is a plus. But yeah, I didn't originally mean to open up a tap room out here, tasting room. It was sort of one of those things where I was looking around and realized my friends over at Bull City were the only other guys that were really close by back in the time before I decided to open it up, and I was really sort of disappointed because I love cider, and I was like, well, there needs to be more on tap somewhere. More than one at least on tap. So I built the bar and put some taps on and grabbed myself some guests because I'm not huge enough to be able to fill all 6 of my taps yet, but I hope to continue to grow and eventually continue with some guest taps and continue with my own all the way up to maybe 12 taps or something in the future. So yeah, I really wanted the aspect of a cider house vibe. There's so many breweries and beer places out there. There's no place that a lot of people can go, hey, you know what? Let's go get a cider.
Yeah.
You know. So we'll see what the future brings, but for right now, it's just that great cider vibe and cider stuff at this wonderful location in Morrisville.
I'm gonna build off of that.
Okay.
And where do you see Naughty Penguin going? Talk about the growth you see. You said maybe
Growth
some
of
more.
Naughty Penguin.
Are you looking to expand into being in restaurants and bars on tap? Any distribution ideas coming?
Absolutely. So I really want to grow into the Triangle area. I really want to expand out to a bunch of the bars, the bottle shops, tap rooms that are out there, because I mean everybody needs cider, right? Nobody can say no, right? But I really want to see the growth over the next year, if not hit all of the Triangle, you know, maybe expand out a little bit.
Yeah.
I really, my dream when I first started this was to open, and now my dream's to be all over North Carolina.
Yeah.
You know, what will my dream be in a few years? I don't know, but you know, I'd like to get there first.
Yeah.
I really want to just create a good, small list of good ciders that I can make with a little bit of seasonal, but mostly just year-rounds. That's people can enjoy, that just put a new name to the cider.
Yeah.
I understand that, you know, everybody has their own niches and everybody's doing their thing, and I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes. I just want to be able to make a good cider that multiple people can enjoy.
Yeah.
And I feel that cider is one of the more versatile things that you can mix with other ciders. You don't have to keep with one thing. Yeah, they even make cider beer. They make cider cocktails. I mean, legitimately, for how versatile cider is, I'm very surprised it's not out there more. But for that, I definitely want to start doing more events at the Tasting Room. I've got trivia starting January 31st with Geeks Who Drink.
That's going to be a weekly.
It's going to be a weekly thing,
Thursday nights?
on Thursday nights, 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. Heck yeah, I'm very excited about that. I want to try and do some other events. I've done some painting events where it's I've got a lovely paintress. She comes out, no stencils. It's all freehand, but she breaks it down in steps. We do that every 2 to 3 months. We try to keep it fresh and do new penguins every time. On top of that, we're looking into doing some other minor events, maybe some other different painting or craft events, along with maybe like some bingo or something like that, that just, you know, is something that's light. Again, trying to stay with my motto. I want you to be able to drink and enjoy yourself, but you know, you don't have to be horribly focused and stressed about whatever you're doing. I want it to be very chill for everything.
Cool. Well, let's talk a little bit about the cider industry as a whole. You spoke a little bit about how surprised you've been by the lack of cider knowledge, especially down here. Maybe talk about what are you doing, or what you would like to see done in the area to help grow the cider industry?
I'll be honest, I'm not doing much. My resources are very, I'll say, limited for right now. I definitely want to do more, and I'm very interested in doing more. Not just saying that on camera, it's just hard. What I would love to see is some of these bars pick up some more craft ciders. I would really appreciate it. Really appreciate it if people would have more than just one tap of cider. 2 even. I mean, it's mind-blowing. Even 3. Oh my God. But there's so many different ciders out there that you can have sweet, you can have a dry, and you can have a fancy one. Right. You can have all these different ones. And that's just generic right there. That's just my generic version of it. Because there's enough out there that can supply it. I understand the people who only have like the 4 taps, but you know, people who have like 20 taps, 3's not much. Right. And then it gets the industry in a little bit more. It gets people thinking about it. I mean, that's my peeve, if anything. Like, just come on, we can get there.
Yeah.
But for most of it, that would be my first thing. I don't really know what else I'd like to see other than more cideries come out.
All right, Matt, I think that about wraps it up.
Okay.
Before we leave, though, let's talk a little bit more about exactly where can you be found and what are your hours?
Absolutely. We can be found in Morrisville, out in Copeland Oaks. We're this teeny little center for a bunch of industrial buildings. We're found in the back on the right, way in the back, next to Open Arts, lovely little kids dance studio, great spot. Shout out to all my dance moms, by the way, and dads. But we're found right next door. You got to look really close, but we're there, I promise. Our hours are 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Monday through Wednesday. Then we're open 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Thursday and Friday, with 1 to 10 on Saturday and 1 to 7 on Sunday. But come on by, 7 days a week. I'm always here. Heck yeah.
All right, thanks again, Matt.
Thank you, I appreciate it, man.